welcome to Brands Hatch. It's the third race weekend of the DTM season 2012. Here you can see the drivers' parade taking place, and it's very, very British here, obviously. And since we've got 5 Brits in the field, you can be sure that they tried especially hard in this race weekend. So enjoy the highlights.
Yeah, thanks very much, Verena. 3 races in 4 weekends to start the DTM. Here we are at Brands Hatch. A chilly day, but an outstanding crowd of some 27,000 packed around the Indy circuit, traditionally used for the DTM, and everyone excited about the 3 manufacturers who are now in the series. Gary Paffett looking very strong indeed. Much a local hero, but has never won here. There is Jamie Green and Roberto Merri, another British driver. Jamie, although he now lives in Monte Carlo. David Coulthard and Susie Stollard, or Susie Wolf as we call her these days, 2 Scots together, and Andy Prio. So 4 Brits here. There's Bruno Spengler, winner of the previous race, and Martin Tomczyk, the reigning champion. He'll be racing here too, as will former champion Matthias Ekstrom. Let's check out the track. It's the Hankook animation, and as we said, 1.3 miles around, and traditionally this difficult start, the actual start line is cambered, and it makes getting a straight start pretty difficult. It's also, for the guys at the front, an uphill start. For the guys at the back, well, they're actually going downhill. But the first bend is one of the most famous in motor racing, one of the most challenging. It's Paddock Hill Bend, and then up to Druids, and then second gear, and then accelerating down towards Graham Hill Bend. And then the track keeps turning, third up into fourth, and then the track flicks right, and the long corner up to fifth, grabbing sixth as they come through clearways and back onto that straight, and heading towards 142 miles an hour before they break again for Paddock. And it takes just over 40 seconds. Brands Hatch then, all action. It'll be 98 laps around here, and in kilometres, it's 1.9 kilometres. Qualifying, there was jubilation at Mercedes. Norbert Haug, yes, it says it all. Number 1, Gary Paffett, put it on the pole at a track where he's never won in DTM.
Really happy, really happy. I mean, it's qualifying anyway this year is incredibly tough, but around here the times are so close and the circuit is incredibly challenging, so it's just real sense of achievement being on pole, and my lap in Q4 was pretty special. I gave it everything, and yeah, really happy.
And an all-Mercedes front row, because that young man, Christian Vittoris, second fastest in the Mercedes bank car, the first time he'd made it onto row 1.
Well, obviously I'm very happy. The qualifying today went in the right direction. I'm comfortable in the car. The team did an awesome job with putting me out in the right time, because that's quite a tough job here on the small track as well. So thanks to the team, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
Bruno Spengler in the black BMW on pole and won at Lausitz's. Here, he was up on the pace again, third fastest for BMW.
It was tough. It was a hard qualifying, very, very close. The lap times were very close together. So I'm happy about the day today for the whole team, for my engineer, and everybody at BMW, I guess, is also quite happy for our first time here in Brands Hatch being P3.
Mike Rockenfeller was on the pole a year ago here at Brands Hatch. This time, well, he was quick again. P4 for Rocky.
I had the chance probably to go in the first row, if you see the gap, to P2, and therefore I'm not completely happy. It's really important to be here in the front on this grid for tomorrow, but P4 is not a bad position.
And what about the BMWs, Martin Tomczyk and Augustus Farfus? Well, it was just fractions of a second, which made all the difference here on this little track. And this is what the Brazilian had to say about it.
So a few hundred can make the difference, and here it did. So I think we have a good car to race. I think the race pace is definitely good. So I'm looking forward for tomorrow. I think 98 laps here is definitely a lot, and with a good strategy, a good race pace, we can climb up.
There's Timo Scheider, a former winner here at Brands Hatch, not happy with the handling of his car, as you can see, the 2008 and 2009 champion, and he qualified 15th.
Well, P15 is for sure not a good result. It's a disaster, to be honest. But, well, we struggled big time. I was pushing till the very end, and I had one mistake. I lost the car in turn 4. We came back to the pits, checked the car again, but the car felt okay after that. But we are missing like 1.5 tenths to the next round, and that's feeling frustrating for all of us, and we have no answer so far.
Not much of an answer for the two Grand Prix drivers, former Grand Prix drivers on the grid. Ralf Schumacher qualified in 18th place, and David Coulthard, yes, DC was only 20th. There, David Coulthard then, the Scot, and he's won at Brands Hatch way back in his Formula 3 career. There you have the top 10 positions with Paffett and Vittorius on the pole, and then Spengler and Rockenfeller, Tomczyk and Albuquerque doing a good job, and then Adrian Tambay. And there through to 22nd position, and the two girls on the back row of the grid. Gary Paffett celebrating, and fortunately there will be no rain this year. This is what it's been like in the past at Brands Hatch.
I'm now here with Matthias Ekström. Now, the qualifying yesterday, not too promising for you. You're starting from P8. How do you feel about that?
Sure, it's not great to be on P8 on the grid. We wanted to be further up front, but here at Brands Hatch is very, very close. And if you don't get everything spot on, P8 is what you get. Sure, I would like to be more fighting with Gary for the pole, but they did a better job, simple as that. And for the race, it's still wide open. We have a lot of laps to do, and you need a good start, good strategy, good pit stop. So it's far from over.
All right. And now looking at the season, it's only the third race today. You had one pole and 2 times you started in P8. For some reason, Audi seems to be struggling a little bit in 2012. Why is that? What do you think?
I mean, generally the DTM now, say the new DTM era with the new cars, it's very, very close in terms of lap times and competition. So that we have a little bit back foot for the moment can be, but as you know, Audi, they are going to work hard to catch it up again, to have the 100s and 10s on our side, because this is what it's all about. You have to find pace in qualifying to start up front, and then you have to be consistent for the race. And I mean, BMW and Mercedes, they're also not sleeping, so 2 hard competitors, and I mean, we're also fighting to try and catch them. But so far we had some decent races with important points, but hopefully more is to come.
And now let's talk about the race today. Last year in Brands Hatch, you were 2nd place. Do you think that's a good omen for the race today?
Yeah, I think a good start will be the key. I've been practicing a lot, so I know I can make a good start, and let's hope that I get a clear run up to turn 1, and then hopefully I survive the first lap, and it would be nice to have a quick car and feel confident for the race.
Absolutely. Best of luck. Thank you very much, Matthias.
Yeah, a chilly day at Brands Hatch, but a packed programme of racing, and all the spectators able to have a very good look at the cars. The biggest crowd I've seen for the DTM, I think, at Brands Hatch.
In the first row, we have Mercedes-Benz, so it's going to be a very, very exciting race here. And with me is former DTM champ and now Formula 1 star, Paul di Resta. Paul, it's the new era of the DTM, and now with BMW joining us, 3 manufacturers, it's a lot more exciting. What do you think?
No, definitely. I think also coming back here to the UK, you can see the amount of new fans you have with BMW join forces with Mercedes and Audi. The main thing is I'm here as a guest of Mercedes-Benz. They're on the front row, and you know, one of my best friends is there and doing well in the championship. So we'll be here to support and hopefully celebrate something nice tonight.
Susie Wolff's got something to discuss in the warm-up. She was caught speeding in the pit lane, so she has gone back well, in theory 5 places, but in reality just the 1 place, switching sides with Rahal Fry. There is David Coulthard talking with some business colleagues, and Louise Goodman, and Jake Humphries, the well-known presenter of motor racing, Formula One. There's Ralf Schumacher on the grid, and Ralf just having final words with the Mercedes management, as is Timo Scheider, as it happens. Timo with Norbert Haug, and meanwhile Andy Priaulx is about to climb into his purple and white Crowne Plaza BMW, and lots of Guernsey flags waving in the crowd. Let's go back to Verena for more comment.
Mercedes-Benz is in the first row. You're in pole. Couldn't be any better. Are you at all worried about the weather?
Of course we have to be. I mean, it's very grey. They say it should be dry, but you never know what's going to happen. So it's very difficult. A race like this where it could be wet is quite difficult. If it's completely wet or dry, it's no problem. This is a bit more difficult, but we just got to take it as it comes.
And you have a good feeling for winning the race?
Yeah, I'm confident. You know, we've got a good car and the best place to start. So yeah, we're in a very good place, but we've still got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, Jamie Green climbing aboard. Just getting his foot caught a little bit on the roll cage. Remember, all these cars have carbon fibre centre safety cells, but they do have the steel tubular roll cage. There you see it on the Farfus BMW. The chassis is common to all 3 of the makes. There's the Red Bull car of Matthias Ekstrom. Ekstrom with all that success over 10 years in the DTM, and a pretty cool customer. He'll be looking for a good result. More final preparations here. Just get the helmet tight, the gloves on, and of course the belts really tight. Cool day here, only just over 10 degrees. Felipe Albuquerque with that excellent qualifying. Thumbs up from the Portuguese driver. He will start there in P6. And in P5, Martin Tomczyk, the reigning champion, of course, switched from Audi to BMW for this new season, this new era of the DTM. And then Mike Rockenfeller, driving in the colours which we saw Tomczyk win with last year. The Phoenix Racing team very busy this weekend because they will be at the Nürburgring 24 hours too.
Mike Rockenfeller is already in the car waiting for the race to begin. He's starting in P4. What has to happen in this race that Audi can be all the way in the front?
Yeah, first you need to have a car that can go a constantly quick space. We had good long runs this morning, so there I'm looking forward that it could work out. And then you need to be able to fight with the others, staying fair but staying hard. And there is one thing that is here very important all the years, and we have seen that, is to have a good strategy, to be in the right moment and to come out and use new tires without having too much traffic.
Yeah, and Dr. Ulrich really hitting the big talking point here at Brands Hatch. It's about getting your car out of the traffic, and that's very difficult with 22 cars. Vitoris, his first front row start. Let's see if he can make a good getaway. And then Gary Paffett, of course, is a man that everyone knows they have to beat here at Brands Hatch. But remember, he's never actually won a DTM race here, but looking for his 19th career win.
You had your first DTM experience today. How was it taking a spin around here in Gary's car?
Yeah, I mean, it was good fun. I only had 3 laps, but once I got the temperatures of the tyres up, it was good, and I really enjoyed it. So, yeah, one day maybe I'll get the chance to drive these things a little bit more often.
We certainly do hope so. And for now, you're crossing your fingers for Gary?
Yeah, you know, I mean, I'm a big fan of Gary. You know, he does a lot of work for us, and you know, he's a big part of the team. So to see him compete and do well in DTM is fantastic. And so far this year, it's been good. And I also love his big hands. He's got very big hands. I don't know if you've noticed.
Yeah, we find out something new every day. The man on pole position has got large hands. Alongside him, Christian Vitoris, as I said, first time on the front row. Here is row 2, Bruno Spengler, winner last time out, and Mike Rockenfeller. On the third row of the grid, Martin Tomczyk, reigning champion, and the Portuguese hard charger, Felipe Albuquerque for Audi. Then two more Audis, Adrian Tambay, son of former Ferrari driver Patrick and Matthias Ekstrom. Then Augustus Farfus, the quick Brazilian, with Jamie Green. Then it's Edo Mortara, the former Formula 3 champ, and Miguel Molina from Spain in the second of the Red Bull cars. And then Joey Hand all the way from California and Andy Prio, two BMWs together. Then it's Timo Scheider struggling, and Roberto Meri, one of the Mercedes junior drivers, the reigning F3 champ. Then Robert Wickens from Canada and Ralf Schumacher, 17th and 18th. 19th and 20th is Dirk Werner for BMW and DC himself, David Coulthard. And then the back row of the grid, the two girls, Rael Fry and Susie Wolff. So that's the 22-car lineup. Everyone gets ready. Paul di Resta, Jenson Button and his girlfriend. There is Jens Marquardt, the BMW chief. And the lights will go out. And a very good start from Paffett. And a terrible start from Vitoris in the silver car. Vitoris virtually goes backwards, and he's already dropped to what must be 5th place. But a cracking start from the man who was born in Bromley, just a few miles here from Brands Hatch, now lives out in the East Anglian countryside. But it's Gary Paffett. His wife's watching. His 3 boys are watching. His dad's here as well. And they're all cheering for Gary Paffett, and he's made the perfect start. But just like the previous race at Lausitz, it's the 2 cars in black at the front, with Spengler in second place, Bruno Spengler, who sprung that big surprise by winning BMW's second race on their return to the DTM, and they stream past the pits for the first time, and Ekstrom squeezed a little bit by Martin Tomczyk. Ekstrom dives down again, hard braking into paddock. Up here to second gear we go, on board with Farfus, the former Formula 3000, former single-seater ace, but a long-time World Touring Car driver. And Farfus, who went so well in Lausitz, just a couple of places back here. And Andy Prio there on the dirt, just saw the white and purple car take to the dirt. And Prio seems to be backed off. He must be worried about something in the car. Maybe the splitter is damaged. Go on board with Prio. Just trying to hear if we can hear something scraping on the ground, but that onboard was just a quick snapshot of Prio possibly in trouble. There's Susie Wolff going through. Dirk Werner right near the back. Here is Ekstrom's on board. Ekstrom in the number 3 car. And there is Tomczyk, his BMW in the traditional Bavarian Motorwerk colours. Tomczyk, they're not traditional colours, I don't think, for anyone, except Martin Tomczyk used them last year. That's a German automotive sponsor. Here we are, through clearways again, past the pits. 98 laps of this will be 2 pit stops, as always in the DTM. They'll bang on a new set of Hankook tyres. See the start again, watch on the right, just bogging down a little bit, the silver Mercedes of the former GP2 winner, Christian Vitoris, who has been moved up to the top Mercedes team. The 4 cars run by HWI. There you see just how Tomczyk had an easy pass, and then Albuquerque went round the outside. And down the inside was Tomczyk trying to get by. There's Adrian Tambay in the silver Audi. Tambay, a late selection for the team, and it is passed there by Tomczyk. And he gets out there. There's quite a lot of rubber build-up. Had a lot of support races here this weekend, including the F3 Euro Series, Volkswagen Sirocco Cup, where Damon Hill made his racing comeback, sadly only to last 4 laps or so with a puncture. But a lot of activity here at Brands has left this track with plenty of rubber down, gives it lots of grip. But if you get offline, then you get onto the marbles as we go back on board with Farfus. And definitely Prio, we don't see him at the moment, but he is struggling. So Prio, I think, has a problem. There he is. He's in the pits, and, well, must have been a result of this incident where it was David Coulthard who nudged him out into the gravel, presumably some damage to the front, and Prio into the pits, but no, I think it's game over for Andy. Let's hear from him right now.
I had some damage to the front splitter on the first corner, second corner, and that's the end of the race.
End of the race for the 4 times World Touring Car champion. Had a very good start to his DTM career. Remember, at the first race in Hockenheim, finished in 5th place there. Fierce battle going on between Albuquerque and Tomczyk. But Paffett still in the lead. There is Albuquerque with Tomczyk chasing after him, but so difficult to pass around this short Brands Hatch circuit. There's Norbert Haug, the Mercedes team boss, monitoring everything. Very busy man, of course, also looks after Mercedes in Formula One. He'll be off to Monaco from here. A couple of days in the office first, though. Paffett in the lead. Spengler and Rockenfeller, that's your top 3. And there is Ralf Schumacher. And Ralf sort of blows hot and cold in the DTM. Sometimes he has some good runs. Just seeing Joey Hahn going through our picture from Sacramento, California. There's Hahn in the blue and white car, chased by Robert Wickens. And replay there. You can go wide on that Rimple strip, but if you go too far, then it gets really bumpy and you lose traction. V8 engines in these DTM cars pumping out 470, 480 horsepower, and we've got the pit stop starting now, and Tomczyk is in. We're looking for sub 4 second pit stops. And, well, the pits is a crowded place at the moment. Vitoris in. Just went backwards after that start. Disappointing for Vitoris. There's Albuquerque having a good run in that bright blue Audi A5 shape. All these DTM cars, silhouettes. Basically, they have carbon fiber bodies, look like the real car, but this is a pure racing car. That there's no doubt, as Albuquerque comes back there and drops in. Has not made any positions on that pit stop, I don't think. There's Susie Wolf. There's Albuquerque, and he's got Tomczyk all over him. Here's another pit stop. 15 guys, plus the guy who operates the paddle. 15 guys go to work, and there was a bit of a problem there, and that car's slow away. Each of those wheels, you see it going on, that weighs 22 kilos, and trying to put that on quickly, 3 seconds-ish, is pretty difficult. There was a just over 4 second pit stop. Again, we see Wolf crossing the finish line as Ekstrom cycles out just behind Martin Tomczyk and Albuquerque. That's a 3-way battle then. And Tomczyk looking very racy, really trying to get past Tomczyk, piling on the pressure. So here at Brands Hatch, right from the start, it's been Gary Paffett in the lead. The man originally from Bromley in Kent, just down the road here from Brands Hatch. Most of his early car racing was at this circuit. Mercedes in. Ralf Schumacher not having a very good day, but getting a pretty good dispatch there from the HWA crew, the official racing arm of Mercedes in the DTM. Company started by Hans-Werner Elfrecht, who is also the Bernie Eccleston, if you will, of the DTM. He's the man that masterminds it all on this great show. Of course, about half the races are in Germany. We're also racing in Austria. That will be the next one up at the Red Bull Ring in a couple of weeks' time. Races in Holland also, and Spain as they cross the finish line with this Albuquerque Tomczyk battle going on. Of course, the positions mixed around a little bit. You can see them there on the side of your screen, and those red dots showing who has made a pit stop. Remember, they'll have to make 2 during the course of this race, which will last just over an hour. But this is one of the best battles. I said it before, overtaking difficult here. And look at the grass in the front of the BMW. It's quickly cleaned away by the Schnitzer crew and team boss Charlie Lamb. It was his birthday yesterday. Spengler trying to give him a birthday present by putting it on the pole, but didn't quite make it, but certainly having another fine run here. There is Tomczyk, the best of the Audis. Audi have been worried about the speed of their car in the opening 2 races. Maybe they've got a slight aerodynamic issue, but it's certainly not showing here with Rocky as he tries to dive down the inside. The former Le Mans winner, Mike Rockefeller, he'll be back at the Great French Race in June. The only one of these Audi DTM drivers who will be racing at Le Mans and chasing there after the black BMW of Spengler. And this is effectively the battle for 2nd place. Once they've cycled through those pit stops, that's the way it's looking. And the crew get ready for, I think, Gary Paffett. Yeah, here he dives in for his first of 2 pit stops. Gary Paffett. And let's see if they can get him away in under 3.5 seconds. That's what they always aim to do, as Ekstrom just pops out in front of him in the Red Bull Audi. Here's the C-Class Coupe. Remember, these new DTM cars are 2-door models rather than 4. Although in racing trim here, the driver sits pretty well in the middle of the car. That's a safety feature. And there you see, that's the gap still between the man who leads here in first place and the man who is second and the man who is third. So Gary Paffett still has that lead of a couple of seconds or so over Bruno Spengler. Tomczyk just dropped back a little bit. And of course, at the top, our leader has not made his pit stop, so he's only the leader in name. He'll soon drop back through the field. They're the BMW crew, all smartly attired in the white race suits. I wouldn't like to have the laundry bill for that lot. Farfus pushing as best he can there, but Tom Bates certainly impressing everyone with his speed here, but it's Paffett who continues to lead. Gary Paffett, who had, has to be said, a poor season last year, never really got to grips with the tyres. We're on the same manufacturer this year, but a very different tyre construction, as we get great shots here as we drive down Paddock Hill Bend and then up there to the famous Druids. And as you can see, overtaking here really is very difficult. You have to worry the guy in front to make a mistake. Remember, all these guys are full-time, professional, highly paid racing drivers. One of the very few series, incidentally, where that happens. There's even a few paid drivers in Formula One, of course. But now we're on with the Farfus, the Brazilian, long-time teammate of Andy Prio in the Belgian-run BMW, Bart Mathe's team. Gary Paffett going down the inside here. Paffett. And Paffett going past that Adrian Tambay. That wasn't for the lead, of course. And out goes the BMW of Martin Tomczyk, still getting used to him not being in the green and yellow colours, which took him to victory, a surprise victory last year. Remember, in 2011 we had cars of 2 different generations, And Tomczyk did it in one of the older generation cars. Now, of course, everyone's on brand new machinery, only 3 races old, and you have to be impressed by the reliability as Albuquerque comes in. And now everyone has made their first stop, and a lot of drivers have made their second stop, and a bit of a problem there for Albuquerque. And it's a second, but you know, it's such important time lost on the track when these pit stops don't go quite to plan. And it's all lightningly quick, of course, 3-4 seconds. Unlike Formula One, the cars do have air jacks. They plug the air hose in and up they pop. But at the front, it's still the story that we've had right from the beginning. Gary Paffett in the lead. Just listen to the noise of that engine for a moment. Gary, the 2005 DTM champion, looking for his 19th victory in this series, where he's run for many years, but 2005 his best. Yeah, of course, he leads the championship going in to this race after 2. And again, that grass, which has been cut around a little bit at Brands Hatch, being pulled out of the Albuquerque car where they had that problem on the right front, and finally they get it sorted. Sometimes they can just get the nut not quite square, it cross threads. The nut's always softer than the axle itself, so they just take another nut. But it all costs time, of course. Out of the pits goes Ralf Schumacher after a drive-through penalty, speeding in the pits. Returns in about P18, and this doesn't look good. Timo Scheider is retiring. Problems for him all weekend. A misfire with the engine.
I had a reasonable good start, and after that I was a bit in a fight, dropped back in some positions. But the performance after that was not too bad, but suddenly we gained some engine problems. And just for safety reasons, we stopped the car, and now we have to check what's going on.
So problems with the engine, they only have a limited number for the season, so that's why they've stopped it right there. Second and final pit stop for the leader, Gary Paffett. They've got to get this right, and they do. Not a record stop, but still pretty smart at just over 4 seconds. And Paffett will come out, and is he ahead? Oh, Spengler, yes he is, there's the black BMW. But look at that gap, it's only a couple of seconds, what, 8, 9, 10 car lengths? Of course, it'll close up here at Druids, and Spengler hasn't given up hope, but he knows it'll be a tough call to get past Gary. He would have been following, he knows where Gary is quick, he knows where he is maybe a tiny bit quicker, he knows where maybe he's a little bit slower. But he's still pressing on. Gary might just make a mistake. Many a motor race has been won or lost in the closing 2 or 3 laps. We'll see the replay of the pit stop. And there was a bit of a problem with the gun, you see, on the front, and it cost a second. Here's the Miguel Molina pit stop. And Molina well up in the top 10. On board with Farfus again. The number 16 car. He comes out of the pits, does Miguel Molina, and he comes out and he's just in front of Farfus, and he's got Jamie Green snapping at his heels trying to get by him in the silver wrapped car with the red mirrors. Jamie Green. Jamie coming to this race with high hopes. He'll be a little disappointed not being in a podium paying position, but plenty of points there. Great camera angle here, and look at Green on Molina. And did they touch? Well, maybe it was just the slightest kiss. A great look underneath the car. And let's hear now from...
At the end I was close to Ekstrom, Vitores, Molina, so I think the speed was really strong, but obviously qualifying and being 10th or 11th at the beginning made it very tough.
Yeah, cracking battle there down in around 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th sort of positions. And there, Albuquerque in front of Molina, 8th and 9th. But Gary Paffett seems to have pulled away a little bit, not in shot at the moment as we concentrate on this battle. But Paffett seems to have pulled away a little bit from Spengler. Spengler maybe now deciding to settle for 2nd place. Let's have a look at this in replay. And dive down the inside at Paddock Bend, and a great move by Molina on Albuquerque. You see it from high above, and Molina just getting himself in the right position. Albuquerque leaving the door open. Christian Vittoris across the start-finish line. Disappointingly slipped down the order after starting on the front row of the grid. And let's look at this. Here's a pass as Molina on the Italian Mortara, and yeah, Molina certainly having a good final third of the race.
The car was fantastic. We had a really good pace, and also the team did a really good strategy to overtake some cars. So it was perfect. It was really good. We have to work more for the Saturday, for the qualifying, but because the race pace we have it.
So it seems that the Audi A5 is more competitive here at Brands than it was at the 2 previous races, but we're hearing that Spengler has a problem with his front splitter, and it's delaminated a little bit, probably bashed it over the curb a bit hard, just not fully attached. I don't think it's going to be a problem for him. He's going to lose a little bit of front end grip though. So Spengler, any hope of him closing on Gary Paffett now, I would say, have gone with that problem. There you can see it, just flapping around, look, just delaminated. Probably a result of running over one of those rumple sticks. Tomczyk going well in 4th, Ekstrom 5th, Vittoris 6th, Molina, Green, Mortara, Albuquerque, that big battle, Farfus, Tambe in 12th, Hand in 13th, Wickens in 14th. But this is the best of the BMWs, but with that little bit of a problem. All the lock up, and that was how Jamie Green got past Albuquerque. And now, of course, 2nd place. Bruno Spengler, the French-Canadian, will have to keep himself in front of the bright yellow and green car of Mike Rockenfeller. And Rockenfeller has probably been told by the pits that Spengler has this problem. There it will be difficult turning into paddock. And I just wonder now if Rocky can capitalise on this situation and find a way through. He's certainly putting the pressure onto Spengler, but the Canadian's a pretty cool customer. Dr. Wolfgang Ulrich, the boss of Audi Racing, on the pit wall watching this situation. Audi also have cars racing in the Nürburgring 24 hours this weekend, looking to win that race for the first time. And in fact, their leading cars run by Phoenix Racing from the Nürburgring, the same team who are running Rockenfeller, so they must have been pretty stretched. Just you can see behind Tomczyk, we saw the flash of white with the BMW red and blue stripes. But the pressure is on. This year, everyone with the same rear wings, as you can see. A lot of common parts, and there a problem. That's the replay. Mortara just missing his brakings. Maybe they've got a braking issue on the Audis there. Mortara going wide. And very much the closing stages. The checkered flag is now in sight for Gary Paffett. It was Tomczyk who won here a year ago. Before that was a man we saw down in the pits, Paul de Resta, for a couple of years. Timo Scheider won the race in 08. The semi-retired Bernd Schneider in 07 and Ekstrom in 06. That's when the DTM came to Brands Hatch for the first time. But as I said at the beginning, this is the biggest crowd I've seen here for the DTM, I think. Lots of enthusiasm for this now 3 manufacturer battle. And we've got 3 different manufacturers in the top 3. Across the start-finish line again. And still Rockenfeller, who did much of his early international racing for Porsche until he was headhunted by Audi. And look how Tomczyk has closed up. And there is the BMW boss, and there's Ernst Moser. He's the boss of Team Phoenix. But now Gary Paffett comes to the line, and the boss will be cheering, be Norgan Haug, and Gary Paffett zigzags it across the line to take the victory here. Bruno Spengler hangs on to a second place just. Jens Marquardt will be happy with that second, though, I'm sure. And, well, Dr. Ulrich, Tomczyk coming home third for him. But Gary Paffett makes it win number 19 in the DTM, his first at Brands Hatch. Verena.
A perfect race for Mercedes-Benz. Congratulations, Mr. Haug. I mean, Gary Paffett really did ace this race. How proud are you? How happy are you?
Yeah, I really am. And I mean, if you look back at the Lausitz-Ring, he was certainly there with a chance to win. And you know, he could have had a triple, but 2 first places, 2 wins, and 1 second in 3 races. That's amazing. It's reflected in the point standing. Obviously, he deserves it. He was a little bit a lonely cowboy because the other guys, Christian dropped back 7 places during the first lap, but recovered to 6, and Jamie came home 8. So not a bad team result, and we are leading all 3 in all 3 championships, so I could not have wished for more.
So there is the final result then, and the victory from Paffett over Spengler, Rockenfeller, Tomczyk, Ekstrom, Vitoris coming back to 6th, Molina, Green, Mortara, Albuquerque. That was the top 10. And then behind them, it was Farfus, Tambay, Hand, Wickens, Coulthard, Werner and Merry.
First of all, happy birthday to you, of course.
Thank
and
you.
Second of all, congratulations to second place with Bruno Spengler. He certainly defended the second place. But what exactly was the problem? I mean, he was holding on.
Well, I mean, we could see that it was very tight, and obviously you needed today very good pit stops and very good strategy. All of that was necessary. Bruno did a great start, but yeah, unfortunately at the end I think we had a bit of a problem in the front of the car, and he slowed down a little, but he still defended very well, and really great job from Bruno and also from Martin. 4th as well is a very good result, so I'm extremely happy.
And there, Gary Paffett first, second and first in the first 3 races, giving a flying start to the championship ahead of Bruno Spengler and Martin Tomczyk.
Congratulations, third place for Rockenfeller. You've got tears running down your cheek. I bet you're very proud and very happy.
I'm really proud and very happy. This was a great race from both cars, and yeah, the pace was good. Our strategy was good, and in the end we are on the podium. We are really, really happy, and maybe 1 or 2 laps more than we are second.
There, the bubbly sprays on the podium, and we can hear from the race winner.
What a fantastic race that is. You were really on fire up there.
Yeah, it's an incredible start to the season, and incredible to win, especially here on my home turf. Great qualifying.
It's the first time in Brands Hatch.
First time winning here in DTM, yeah, so it feels incredible. And being on pole yesterday was certainly the first step, and we got in front at the start, and then yeah, was able to pull away at the front, so very happy.
So yeah, not surprisingly, that was the problem which hampered Bruno Spengler towards the end of the race, and Verena Wright caught up with the French Canadian.
You were holding on in the end. What was the problem with the car?
Yeah, the splitter front left broke, exiting turn 1. We always go very hard on this curve, and then at some point I heard a strange noise, and then I had a lot of understeer in the right corners. So then I had to go a bit on the safety side, brake early and go slow in the corners. Mike came back, was very, very tough. But you know, I was fighting hard. I'm a fighter, I never give up, and it was enough to finish second. Of course, before that we had a very good speed. We could not quite match Gary, just a couple of tenths, 1 or 2 tenths slower than him a lap. But I mean, we were quite quick, and for our first time here on this track, it's very good to finish second. So I'm happy for the whole team.
And another happy man was Mike Rockenfeller, bringing it home in 3rd place, and a good start to his season.
After qualifying, I was aiming for podium position, and it worked out. I had a good start, good strategy, and I just kept pushing. At the end, I was close to Bruno because he had a problem, but I couldn't catch him.
So Gary Paffett embraced by Jenson Button. Great weekend for Gary. I enjoyed it. I'm Andrew Marriott, and it's goodbye also from Verena.
It was a perfect day for Gary Paffett. His first victory here in Brands Hatch in his career. He really did have a very comfortable lead there. Bruno Spengler from BMW in 2nd place, and finally Audi showing some speed with Mike Rockenfeller in 3rd place. It certainly was a very exciting race, and you can be sure that in Spielberg it's going to be even more exciting. So see you then. Bye-bye.